Okay, here we are. Okay, guys. Real quick. Didn't. I usually have my reviews at least started by literally right after the episode, which is about usually like 10 Eastern. But this week I ran into some issues, and I actually didn't get to finish watching the episode until right before this, which was like 1 a.m. So, my bad. But here we go. I'm still doing the episode review as usual. Let me just go ahead and pull up the comment section real quick. By the way, if you're watching this right now, go ahead and like the video so we can get more people in here. And yeah, um, let me go ahead and get this comment section. All right, so first of all, let's get to the all right, so my general thoughts on this episode. I do think it was a good episode, but while I think it was a good episode, I think they took away a lot. They took away a little bit from the series with this, and this is another thing you wouldn't really know or you wouldn't notice unless you're a book reader. And book readers, I can imagine being kind of pissed at this episode. Like, honestly, being kind of pissed at this episode because of exactly what they did, which is namely killing off Pip and Gren. If you're not sure, they are John's two friends in the Night's Watch. The one that died with Sam, Egret shot an arrow through his neck, and they killed Gren, who fought the giant. Now, these two deaths were not in the books. I'll start by saying that. Um, I really don't mind when the directors change something from the books, but I do kind of, it does kind of irk me when they change something that shouldn't have been changed. And this is one of those things, because it's not like they don't show up again in the books. They have funny lines. They do things. They actually play a role. I can't tell you that role, but they do play a role. And I think these are two characters that definitely shouldn't have been killed. Gren, his death was actually supposed to be. By the way, if you're watching for the first time, I forgot to say these reviews do not contain any spoilers from the books. I just put in insight from the books, but I promise you, I do not spoil anything. So just putting that out there. But yeah, I was gonna say Gren's death. His death was he wasn't supposed to die. What his death was, he was supposed to be the character that died fighting the giant in the tunnel was supposed to be a character called Sir Donald Noyle, right? And this guy was a one hand. It was a one. He had one arm. He used to be a blacksmith, but yeah, he was supposed to pretty much have a double suicide with the giant. He was supposed to have impaled the giant in the neck with a sword, and the giant was supposed to have killed him at the same time. But that was not supposed to have been Gren. And granted, the character Sir Donald was a really, really nice character, really good character, had a really nice death. So it was definitely a good death. And I don't know why they wouldn't include him in the show. Again, no idea. I have no clue. But they still had to get the scene with the giant because that scene was a very good, very, very, very good scene in the books, and it was a very, touching scene. So what they did was they replaced it with Gren. I don't know why they made that change because it's supposed to be a totally different character. But that being said, while I didn't, and Pip on the other hand, that never even happened. But granted, I will say I don't like the deaths. I don't like the effect the deaths have on the series, but I do have to say that they were good deaths, meaning that it didn't take away from the episode. It was a very, very nice episode, partially because of those deaths. Those deaths helped the episode out. But do I think they were necessary? Not at all. I don't think they were necessary, and I don't think they should have killed those characters. I think there was enough death during the battle that those characters really didn't have to die at all. So, yeah. Now, let's see. All right, but from then, I'm just going to go through the episode step by step. This actually shouldn't be that long of a review, if I'm correct. It really shouldn't be that long, mainly because of the fact that most of the episode was just the battle itself. But I'm going to go over all the differences from the books, everything like that, and do a sort of play-by-play. Now, the episode starts with Gren and Pip. They're in the tunnel. Gren is The episode starts off with John and Sam having the talk, and Sam is like, you know what, dude, I'm never gonna get to have sex in my life, so I just want to know what it felt like. And John, yeah, dude, John actually tried his best to explain to Sam how it felt, but I mean, he pretty much failed like 100%. But I think that was an interesting scene. You know, it didn't have any effect. It was sort of building anticipation. It showed that Sam, you know, everyone on the wall. This scene overall, I think the main point of it, rather than to show their affections towards women, was to show that everyone on the wall sincerely thinks they're going to die, and rightfully so. The odds are literally 1,000 to 1. So I mean, it makes sense that they'd all think they're going to die. I mean, come on. So, and I thought it was kind of funny, actually, how Sam was like, the vows say, I shall take no wife and I shall have no children. It says nothing about actually having sex. That was pretty funny. And it's true. Hey, you can't fault him for that. The vows of the Night's Watch don't say you're not allowed to have sex or be in love. But what I found more interesting than that scene was Maester Aemon's scene with Sam, because he explained that nothing good comes from love. And in this series, I think that is like 100% spot on. Love has only been used as a weapon or a tool, or ended in a way that is not desirable. Like every single relationship, John and Egret's being one of them, it ended horribly. Sam and Gilly's is just holding him back and giving him something to worry about and giving her something to worry about. But Aemon made the point that even though love is, you know, as he called it, love is the death of duty. Love is still, he pointed out that love is still a beautiful thing. You know, it's very beautiful, very, very nice. But I think this applies to real life too. Love is a great thing, but we would all be better off not falling in love. Like, on the real, I think we would all be better off, like, as people, like, you know, we'd be safer, I guess you'd say, if we didn't fall in love. But it's just natural, and it's a really good thing. So, there we go. Next scene was, okay, so first of all, I want to point out a few things. One thing was that's not really that great, well, not really that impactful, is the owl. The freaking owl, working into the owl to spy on the Night's Watch was freaking like, damn, the wildlings had that on lock. But that was just a random comment. Now, what I really want to talk about that didn't really make any sense to me is, I believe I said in my last review that the whole Gilly thing, the whole Gilly plot point, her being sent to Mole's Town and coming back, was not like real. That never happened in the books. Now, I don't understand why the directors put this in the episode. When the wildlings, Ygritte, Tormund, they were all talking around the fire, and Gilly walks up with the baby, and she freaking walks up to their camp, looks, and then walks, like, why? And wouldn't the wildlings have noticed her? We're talking about some battle-hardened dudes waiting to attack the wall. They're warging into freaking owls, scouting like miles and miles, like, and they can't freaking see Gilly and a baby walking past. She was on top of the cliff. You'd think that's something that would catch your eye. Like, never mind. But I'm just saying that that's not really that important. But come on, I really don't think Gilly should have been, like, why show Gilly walking past them? Like, really? I don't understand. Whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but come on. The scene with Gilly walking past the freaking wildlings without them noticing is kind of stupid. It was just kind of stupid to me. So now we see Gilly come back to the Night's Watch, and she had a really, really, I think the romantic scenes with Gilly and Sam are pretty damn good. One of the only, like, actually pure and good romances in the series. But yeah, the Sam and Gilly, like, that scene was really good. You know, Gilly naturally wants him to stay down there, doesn't want him to put himself in danger. But Sam points out that he's a man of the Night's Watch, and I think this scene, like, really goes far in showing Sam's development and how he, his development as a person. You know, he used to be a coward. When he came into the Night's Watch, he was a freaking coward. He was pretty much just as scared as Pip was during the fight. But the difference with him is he really manned up. Now having something to protect, he couldn't be scared. Like, he had no choice but to actually fight. So there we go. Um, let's see. But yeah, they had a really good scene to kiss. Hey, okay, that was a really good scene. That was a really good scene. Now we're getting to the actual battle. Now, let me say this. As you guys should know, watching the series, there are the two guys that really piss Jon off and are against Jon on the wall: Alistair Thorne, Sir Alistair Thorne, and Janos Slynt. Janos Slynt's the one that hid in the closet. He's a pussy, and I don't even want to talk about this dude. Janos Slynt is just, oh my god. Literally, they called him to the top of the wall. This guy literally didn't know where he was. He was delusional. He was hallucinating. He saw the giants, and he's like, giants don't exist. Like, this guy, and then he went to hide with Gilly, and I was just like, this dude is dead to me. I freaking hate Janos Slynt. But on the other hand, another character that you're supposed to hate, that I don't hate, is Sir Alistair Thorne. Now, Sir Alistair Thorne is the guy that was, the other commander guy that was on the wall, that was telling the archers to knock their bows, and that guy, Alistair Thorne. Now, let me say this. I usually dislike Alistair Thorne, and he's supposed to be a character people dislike, but this episode, you have to admit, he was hilarious. He was literally hilarious. Oh my goodness. Like, Alistair Thorne, his quotes this episode were for the situation, freaking amazing. I honestly think they were amazing. He was like, when he said to knock their bows and loose their arrows, and the guy dropped the barrel, and he's like, did I tell you to fucking drop? Like, oh my gosh. He was hilarious, though, and I have to say that I loved his scenes this episode. They were really, really good to me. I don't know if it's just me, because, you know, you're supposed to hate this guy, but I couldn't hate him this episode. And he had a really good, when he moved to the rear of the castle to defend from the other side, or I guess that would technically be the front. But whatever. When he went to defend from the other side and he had to give his speech, I really felt that the dude. Okay, while he's a dick, okay, him and Janos Slynt are both dicks. That is apparent. That's obvious. But what makes this guy, Alistair Thorne, different is he actually knows what he's doing. He's actually a brave dude. He's actually a good leader. I can say that with 100% certainty. This guy's an actually a decent leader. So yeah. Let's see. But yeah, we all know Jon got placed in command of the force that was manning the actual wall when Alistair Thorne went to defend the other part of the castle, and Janos Slynt lied to him and told him he was needed down below, just so he stopped being a dumbass and just started actually doing something on the wall. And he went to hide. We all know that. But let's talk a little bit about the battle itself, because this battle in the books, I was actually wondering to myself, how are they going to end? How are they going to actually film this? How are they going to show it and represent it well? And they actually did a pretty damn good job. All the battle scenes were really on point, in my opinion. Really on point. It wasn't quite. I'm going to say this because I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, and I absolutely love this episode. But the battles, I have to say, while this episode was good, it wasn't as good as I expected it to be, or I thought it would be. And there are certain things that happen in the books where I say they're better in the books. There's certain things that I say that are better in the show. I think this is one of the things that I think was better in the books, strangely enough, because the Battle of the Blackwater was better in the show, I think, because of all the, it was just really, really well filmed. This one, I kind of preferred to have the words, because the words described, I think here the words described more than the pictures. You know how people say pictures worth 1,000 words? The words actually described more than seeing this battle take place firsthand to me. But that being said, not to take away from the episode, though, the episode was really good. I liked how they did the giants. Oh my, the giants were really, really well done. The freaking giant that had the arrow and he shot it and it sent the guy literally this guy literally went flying from the giant's arrow. That was amazingly done. The Night's Watch dropping the barrels filled with ice. If you don't know, those barrels were filled with solid ice. So basically what would happen is when the barrels dropped all the way to the bottom from all the from the height of the wall. They exploded and sent ice everywhere, and these fragments of ice were sharp and were used to kill wildlings. So yeah, really, really good stuff. I think at one point they showed them dropping like barrels that were like bombs. I don't recall that ever happening in the books. If I remember correctly, they were just dropping barrels filled with ice. Again, though, there are some details from the book that I forget, so that might be one of them. Next scene, though, let's see. I already talked about Janos. Freaking running. I just can't stand this guy, but yeah. Next, what happens is actually that was something I already talked about, the Pip's death scene. The fact that it annoyed me that he didn't die in the books aside, I think it was a really good death. The fact it showed like you felt for him, it showed like the danger, the sense of danger of this battle. That Sam was literally telling Pip right before that, like, you gotta shoot him. Like he's like, Pip shot one guy. He's like, I killed him. And freaking, it was sad though. Sam was like, are they all dead? And he's like, no. And then he's like, well, keep on shooting. Pip stands back up to shoot again, and Ygritte catches him right in the neck, and that was really sad. Dude just dropped dead, and oh my god, the fact that he died in his arms, in Sam's arms, is freaking, oh my gosh. And to think that this is the guy that was the most scared out of everyone. Sam told him, you know, Sam was trying to give him hope, and he still ended up dying. That was kind of sad. All right, now, where are we in the episode? Let's just go over Ygritte's death really quick, because that was actually a pretty good part of the episode. Jon was fighting against the leader of the Thenns, and that was actually a pretty good fight scene, but you gotta say Jon got outclassed. When we see, now this is one thing. If you remember, guys, when Jon was fighting against, I believe the guy's name was Carl, the guy that took over Craster's Keep, when Jon was fighting against him, the guy with the 2 daggers, people were saying that Carl fought dirty, so he didn't deserve to win. If that's true, you gotta say that Jon fought dirty. Jon was 100% about to die to the Thenn, but he decided to spit blood in the guy's eye. Granted, I'm not taking away from Jon's, his fighting skill. He fought well, but he was completely outclassed, and it showed. He was literally about to die, but he spit in the dude's eye and hit him with the hammer. But still, it was a really good fight. Another good fight was Alliser Thorne versus Tormund. That was a freaking fight there. Alliser Thorne held his own for a little bit. He held up. He did end up getting outclassed. I don't think he's dead. I don't know if they would kill him in the show, but I don't think he's dead. If I saw correctly, I think they slashed him in the Tormund slashed him in the stomach a little bit, and they dragged him into the lower quarters so he could get, I guess, patched up, or I don't know what's gonna happen. But they didn't show him after the battle was over, so I'm not completely sure either. But yeah, the Ygritte scene, basically Ygritte was holding her bow to Jon, but she couldn't shoot. Like, I think the scene was well done, but I think it was on the cheesy side, because Ygritte was holding her bow and she wasn't shooting. She was hesitating clearly. But I honestly do think it was a pretty decent scene, honestly. And I did feel for Ygritte. So I won't call it a bad scene, but it was a little bit on the cheesy side. But yeah, the little kid, I forgot this kid's name. But he shot Ygritte, killed her. Jon holds her in his arms, and it was just like pretty much like really sad. And what got me, and what should have got, it was the touching part of this scene, is Ygritte's last words to Jon right before she dies. "You know nothing, Jon Snow." That's what he says. He just says, "You know nothing, Jon." She says, "You know nothing, Jon Snow," and that was the end of her. So I think that scene was pretty well done. And damn, I do feel for Ygritte and Jon. Their love, another example, yet again, of a love that should have never happened, man. Aemon was right. Love is the death of duty, and there's nothing good came of that one, for sure. Let's see. The next scene, as I said, there weren't too many scenes to talk about this episode, just because of the fact that it was literally 100% focused on the Night's Watch, and it was literally also 100% focused on the battle. But I'm just going over all the scenes that did happen, but again, there was not too much to talk about. So I'm gonna say this: if you're watching, go ahead and like the video. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. I'll get to them when I'm done going over the last one or two things that happened. I only have two more things to really go over for this episode. But the next thing is the scene with the giant and the tunnel fighting Gren and the other five. This is by far my favorite scene of the entire episode. Over Ygritte's death, which I think they should have made a little bit more impactful, but it was still pretty good. But this scene was insane. It was absolutely insane. I don't know if it was just me, but even though the fight was off screen and we didn't get to see it all go down, it was great to me. How the one guy was scared as hell. The giant picked up the gate, put it back down when he got inside, and then he's staring at them. This guy drops his weapon, tries to run. Gren grabs him, and he starts chanting the Night's Watch's the oath. And everyone starts to go along. Everyone starts to say it with him. Everyone starts to say it with him as the giant's running closer, and they're readying their weapons. Gren played this out like a man. He played it out absolutely great. They all fought. They all killed the giant, but they all died for it, which is totally understandable. And damn, that was a really good scene. I'm talking about the part where they were chanting the Night's Watch oath, and it was just completely great. It was really great for me. I don't know what about that scene did it, but it was just epic as hell for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than the fact that, of course, Tormund is apparently the only survivor out of the band that came in with Ygritte. Which I would have flipped a shit if they killed Tormund. If Tormund died, I would have literally flipped a shit. This, by the way, Tormund, if you guys don't know, is a character that was, of course, he played a much bigger part in the books. He was hilarious in the books, really, really nice lines. He was just an amazing character in the books. But in the show, they completely shafted him. Like, they literally stripped away every aspect of his character, and he's now just this wild dude that fucking kills people. But yeah, Tormund really, I hate how they screwed up his character, but at least they kept him alive, so there's hope. But still, freaking Tormund, like, I'm never gonna let. If there's the one thing I don't like about the adaptation is what they did to Tormund. By the way, if you don't know, I would just look him up on Wikipedia, honestly, because he has some really good quotes, really good lines, and he's honestly a really good character to me. So if you're not planning to read the books, at least read about Tormund. Obviously the last part where Jon is going out to face the wildlings completely on his own. Jon is going out to try to negotiate with Mance Rayder, and he's going to attempt to kill. Now, why might this work? You might be wondering, like, why wouldn't the wildlings just kill him on sight? I think it's because of, like, first of all, they know the wildlings do know who he is. They do know who Jon is, and Mance is the kind of guy. I think Mance would be more of the kind of guy to want to figure out, why is this guy so crazy, so insane, that he would literally walk up to our whole camp. So I don't know. I'm clearly not going to say how it's going to go, but damn, this is going to be next episode should be a really, really, really good episode, but nothing more from me on that. But I do like Jon's plan, his conviction, his bravery, and really did come together in the last part of the episode, and I think it was a really good way to end it off. Alright, so let's see. Oh yeah, one more random thing. What they did in the books, and what I think they should have done in the episode with the whole people fighting the giants in the tunnel thing, is I think they should have made the Gren scene. Of course, Gren didn't die in the books, but I think they should have made the Gren scene like they did the Donal Noye scene, where when they opened the tunnel, they found Donald with his sword in the giant's neck, and the giant, I think the giant had his sword inside of Donald. Or I remember they found Donald with his sword in the giant's neck, so it was kind of more of an impactful thing. This guy literally just shanked the giant in the neck. But yeah, Common the Great has a point. I forgot to mention the Ghost part. Ghost was beast in this episode. Ghost went absolutely ham um, on the wildlings that came into the castle, and it was honestly really good. The ghost scene. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go from the top of the questions. Been waiting for this streaming to know what a book reader thought of this episode, but yeah, I think overall thoughts again. I thought it was done better in the books. I did expect more from this episode, but I did have really high expectations for it too. But next episode, if memory serves me correctly, should be an absolutely amazing episode. So look forward to that. But I definitely wouldn't put this episode above last episode. I wouldn't put it action-wise only. It was the best episode of the season. But the whole episode as a whole, I don't think it was a better episode. Last episode, the Overend vs. Mountain, and not better than Tyrion Trial either. As an episode, I don't think it was too strong, but the action was really good. It was an entertaining episode, if nothing else. Hey, Zala-Dyke, when the crows are singing their oath, the giant was charging at them. I got chills. Yes, I was watching it because I didn't catch it on TV. So I watched it on HBO Go. I watched that one part like 5 times. It was crazy. Loved that scene. Oh my gosh. By the previews, it looks like Brienne is going to meet with Arya. That should not happen at all. I will be pretty pissed if Brienne meets with Arya. I will be pissed if Brienne meets Arya. Freaking don't change the... Like, I don't mind if things from the book are changed, but things like that don't make sense if they're changed, I just don't like. I really don't like. Zelda, we all know what we were waiting for. We didn't get it. I was expecting him to just be standing there and open the gate at the end. I think what we're waiting for will happen next episode, if we're talking about the same thing. But that's book stuff. But yeah, that is part of the reason why I said next episode should be a lot better. Should be really good. Outclassed, Jon won. Yep, Jon got outclassed, but he did win. I gotta say, he did win. He did it. Did you... Oh, I can't... Oh, you guys are spoiling in the comments. Don't spoil. Don't spoil for the people who haven't read the books. Some spoilers. This episode versus Blackwater visual-wise. Tom of the Great, that's a really good one. This episode versus the Blackwater visual-wise. Okay. Overall, I think this one wins visual-wise. Overall, like everything considered, this episode wins. But the Blackwater scene where Bronn shoots the fire arrow and ignites the wildfire was over anything this episode. Yeah, it was over anything this episode. But overall, the giants, the ice barrels, the barrel grenades, everything together, the giant's freaking arrow that he shot, and he just the arrows themselves, the armies, everything. This episode, I think overall, this episode had better visuals overall. But the best thing, like better than anything in this episode or the Blackwater, was the Blackwater scene with the wildfire. Let's see, how long is this review? How long did I make it? 27 minutes. Okay, I expected it to be about this long. It wasn't that much to talk about. Bro, next episode is called The North Remembers. Is it really? I gotta look up the name, but damn, dude. Next episode should be really good if they include everything that they should. It should be a really good episode. But and unless there are any other questions that you guys want to ask, I'm gonna go ahead and end this one off. I'll be looking at the comments for about another minute to see, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't think there should be that much more to discuss since, again, the episode didn't have that much. Was it the Magnar of Jon Snow killed because he's still alive in the book? Isn't he? That's another thing. I don't. It shouldn't have been. And okay, the thing with the Magnar of Then, which pisses me off about this TV series, another thing, they completely misrepresent the Thens as a race. Like they completely misrepresent them. So the Magnar, in theory, in the show, doesn't even exist, which makes me wonder because he's supposed to be an important character. So what I think is going to happen, which they should do, is they should just go ahead and they should go ahead and make another wildling tribe instead of the Thens, and use the head of that clan as the Magnar. But in the show, the Thens are not the same. I don't even consider them the same. Like I don't even want to call them Thens almost, but you know that's what they are. So I don't know. Let's see. Two giants, that's all. No. Okay, so the thing about the giants, glad you asked that. Thank you for asking that question. There are more than two giants. There are a lot more giants, and they just weren't shown yet. I believe they're going to be a good amount of giants. So if you're looking forward to seeing more giants, they should be included next episode. But there are more than two giants. It's just that the way the Wildlings did things is they only sent two giants on the first day, and I think they sent probably like around 2,000 troops to the wall because they just wanted to, as John I think said, they wanted to test the wall's fortification. They wanted to test out their defenses, see what they got. This is basically all a part of Mance's battle strategy. So no, there are more than two giants. Let's see. Yes, I did misinterpret your comment. I didn't know. Like I thought. Yeah, I thought you said the episode was called The North Remembers. Jon fight versus Qarl or Jon fight versus Ben. Okay, so which one was more epic? Ah, man. Oh, okay. So I am biased. I am biased because I freaking loved Qarl as a character. I freaking loved Qarl as a character. I think he was hilarious. Like he was funny. Very great acting, by the way. I think Qarl is one of the best acted characters. I'm not even joking around. Like he was there for only like one episode, maybe two, but I think he was honestly one of the better acted characters in the whole show. I freaking loved Qarl. The double dagger fighting strategy was amazing. I think their fight was longer, Jon versus Qarl, so I would give it to Jon versus Qarl being the better fight. Not to take away from Jon versus the Then, but it was really one-sided. Jon versus Qarl was at least I think it was more of an even match. The Then just threw Jon. Jon got literally thrown around like a doll. But yeah, why didn't Jon Snow take Ghost with him to the north? Are you talking about when he went to? Oh, okay. You're talking about when he went to Craster's. Okay, you're talking about when he went to Craster's. I believe the main reason for that is first of all, I want to point out that Jon killing the mutineers, I believe, never happened in the books. I don't think that ever happened. He never came close to meeting Bran. That whole thing never happened. So I think that's one of the reasons, but that doesn't fully explain it. I think that if he took Ghost, it would have made it a lot harder to do the whole thing where they snuck up on the guys and got the jump on them. But other than that, if that's not true, then I couldn't think of any logical reason he wouldn't have taken Ghost with him when he went to kill the mutineers. I have no idea. Honestly, that seemed like it would be very freaking smart. Unless what might have happened is Ghost was still locked up, and Alliser Thorne didn't want him to bring Ghost. I don't know, but that's a really good point, actually. He should have taken Ghost with him to kill the mutineers. Let's see, another question. Um, Then does have a son that takes the title later. That might have been what happened. I don't remember what happened with the Magnar of Then in the books during this battle. So it might have been that the Magnar died and he has a son that would take the title. That might have been it. But I don't even like the idea of these guys being interpreted as the same Thens that were in the books. Yeah, I liked Carl, but everyone else seemed to hate him. I know, like, that's the thing. Like, everyone hated Carl. Everyone freaking hated him. I don't know how. Like, he was very, very well acted. Okay, I have to say, he was one of those characters that, he, like, he was one of those characters that you're supposed to hate, I guess, but he was just too funny to hate for me. I just liked the character, man. He was freaking, he was hilarious. Carl better than Charles Dance? Who's Charles Dance? Hold on. Charles Dance. Okay. You're talking about Tywin. Okay, okay. I don't want to get into like ranking the acting in characters, but I do think Carl was better than a lot of the characters. Okay, better than Charles Dance, maybe not. Maybe let's not stretch it. Let's not go that far. But he was a really good, really well acted character. You know the girl who Maester Aemon was talking about, Sam too. Um, Actually, I'm not sure who that was that he was talking about, that he loved, that he was about to marry. What I was thinking was Olenna, but the only problem with this is, like Joe Zorro said when he replied to your comment, is that there's a huge age difference between Olenna and Aemon. I think Aemon is like ancient, while Olenna is just old. And the other thing is, Olenna never mentioned that he was supposed to be a king or anything like that. And Olenna never mentioned him being in line for being the king. And Olenna, if I remember correctly, talked about like freaking sex, like off the walls sex with this dude. So I don't think it was her, because Aemon would have probably mentioned the sex. He talked about them staying up for no, he didn't talk about anything that they did together, I don't think, if I remember correctly. But I think he would have maybe mentioned it, but I don't know, it could have been Olenna. It could have been Olenna, I'm not gonna lie. But the age difference, as Joe Zorro said, is really, really big. Bresboy said, Zaladin, he means why doesn't Ghost come with him now? Oh, okay. I don't think, no, Mance would not stand for that. I don't think Mance would be buying that. Like, this guy comes with a huge direwolf. Like, I don't think so. Plus, I think another reason Jon doesn't want Ghost to come with him is because Jon thinks it's a suicide mission, and he cares about Ghost. Like, he loves Ghost. So I don't think he would want Ghost to die with him. Okay, Vinia Wells. Yeah. Okay, yeah. You meant Ghost. Okay, good. Yeah, that clarified it. But yeah, I don't think he wanted Ghost to die with him. Jon thinks this is a suicide mission. You know, he thinks chances are it won't work. I don't think he wants Ghost to die on his behalf. All the hurt. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Decent episode overall. Felt it was weaker than the previous ninth episode, but still good. I agree 100%. I think it was a pretty good episode. It was a good episode that I wouldn't go to as far as to call it like great or anything like that. It wasn't one of the stronger episodes of this season. Most definitely, last episode, one of the ones that stands out, Joffrey's death, as well as Tyrion's trial, all really good episodes. But overall, yeah, not spectacular. I wouldn't go ahead as to call it a spectacular episode. But yeah, I think that's actually all the questions. And I'm glad we made this a decent amount of time. It's 38 minutes so far, like about 40 minutes, which is good time for this episode review, because I didn't think it would even last this long. Reservoir, I loved how Janos talks shit about the Starks and Robb leaving his vanguard every damn time. Janos Slynt is just a fucking he's just a pussy. I can't stand this guy. Oh my gosh. Just thinking about his scenes just makes me angry, like legitimately angry. This guy is just stupid. Holy crap. But yeah, Janos Slint, screw that guy. 100% screw that guy. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. No more questions are rolling in. Thank you for asking the questions, by the way. All very good questions. Clarified the episode, added a little bit more content. So thank you guys. Thanks for watching the review. As always, go ahead to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching. All right, talk to you guys next week for the 10th episode. Hope you guys are there to watch. Peace out. Have a nice day.